Football is sometimes a cruel and an unfair game. Most of the players who play to the very top are unknown by the fans and those who follow the game. People like Davide Moscatelli, Jorge Gonzalez El Michael are examples of guys who should have been on the lips of everyone, yet most people do not even recognize them. But today, we're going to look at another story of a guy who played to the top, yet not remembered by many. Just 2 months before the 1994 World Cup, tragedy struck Brazil. Almost everyone got traumatized. People mourned for weeks, months, or even years. If you are asked to mention names of the best Brazilian players you have ever seen, I know people will mention Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Pelé, Kaká. Just name them. But there is a name that many have forgotten about, or perhaps never heard of. That guy is considered by many as the greatest ever wonder kid in the history of Brazilian football. His name is Denair. This is the story of a player who signed his own death warrant just at the age of 23. Everyone seemed to have forgotten about him. Well, they may be right, because nobody dies at age 23 and still gets to be remembered by many. Now let's get into it. When it was time for Carlos Alberto Pereira to announce the Brazil squad for the 1994 World Cup, Ronaldo Nazario's name was the last on the list. He didn't play a single minute, but that wasn't the problem. Just being part of the squad alone was able to put him up there and change his career forever. Many people think that if Denair had been there, his fate would have been similar or even better than Ronaldo's. Today, many see Ronaldo as one of the greats of all time. But Denair, what happened to him? Denair was not born into a rich family just like most other African and South American kids. Life was difficult growing up. He lost his father at the age of 15. He had to quit school so he could help his mom with the bills. While he was on the street, a school offered him an opportunity to play in a futsal tournament for a few bucks. And yes, that was where it all started. After the tournament, he was already on the radar of Sao Paulo and Portuguesa, but he ended up signing for the latter. After hitting 22 goals in 106 games, he ended up in Grêmio on loan. But even before we get here, he was just like any other Brazilian player. He was the crazy guy, always getting involved with the police, being jailed for a few months for a robbery with his friends. It was just crazy. One day, Denair went missing. A few hours before their game against Santos, he was still nowhere to be found. The manager had started making plans for his absence. It was then he finally showed up as if nothing had happened. In the game, they were already losing 2-0 at halftime, and the manager threatened to get him subbed off. But that was when he went bizarre. He looked the manager in the eyes and said, "I am not coming off. I am going to go into that pitch, and I am the one who says when the match should come to an end." After that, he went onto the pitch and led his team to turn the game round to win by 4-2. After the final whistle, he gathered the entire team and said to them, "I said what I said. I am Denair. Everyone here must understand this. I am Denair." Everyone was shocked. How could a kid have such audacity? If they thought he had done something so special, they didn't know what was coming next. In another game against Maradona's Niwa Old Boys, Denair shocked everyone in the stadium that at some point Maradona was seen shaking his head in disbelief. And after the game, he walked straight into the dressing room saying, "Where is the kid?" Maradona told his technical team at the time, "Look, you can start saying your goodbyes to this kid, because he wouldn't be here for long." And just after a few months, Maradona was actually right. Denair had finally got a move to Vasco da Gama. After moving to Vasco, a few months later, there was a move to Europe. He was joining Stuttgart for the sum of $3 million. But unfortunately, that move never happened. Just 3 days after signing the contract and 16 days after his 23rd birthday, Denner, who had gone to Sao Paulo for the negotiations, decided to go back to Rio de Janeiro at midnight. Even though he had a plane ticket for the next morning, he just refused to leave his Mitsubishi Eclipse in Sao Paulo. He was tired, yet insisted to take the 5-hour trip, no matter how much his family kept insisting that he should stay at night. It just didn't matter. It was time to drive his Mitsubishi to Rio, a car he had asked Vasco to get for him before he signed a new deal with the club. He was in Sao Paulo with a friend named Otto Gomes de Miranda, who was also a close friend to Romario and Edmund. Miranda brought up an idea that they could drive in turns while the other sleeps at the back of the seat. And so it was. And at 5 p.m., already in Rio de Janeiro, only 20 minutes away from Denner's house, Otto fell asleep, lost control, and the car collided into a tree. They were going about 40 miles per hour, but unfortunately, while Otto's only injuries were his broken legs, Denner had leaned his seat back too far, and after the collision, the seatbelt strangled him, causing his larynx to bleed, ultimately leaving him choked on his own blood. The cameras got to the scene before the paramedics, and just the next morning, the images of Denner, lifeless, with the newspapers covering his face, will be seen by everyone in Brazil. Many still refer that day as the day football died, while some believe he signed his own death warrant the day he signed for that car. To this day, a lot of people still name their children Denner. That was just how good he was. A better kid than Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Neymar, everyone. They just knew he was the next big thing. Except that it never happened. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Denner, the guy who signed his own death warrant by requesting for a car before he signed his new contract. And sadly enough, it was the car that killed him.